when I just finished college, I was living in a one-bedroom townhouse split. I met a guy on Plenty of Fish, and at that time, I wasn't exactly smart about my online digital footprint. He seemed like a decent guy. He was really good looking, said he had a good job, nice teeth, don't judge me, and looked like he cared about his personal health. After about a week of chatting online, we agreed to meet. We met at a restaurant downtown, which was really far from where I lived. When I got there, I noticed him standing at the door. At the end of the date, we said bye, and I got into my car and began to drive away. I realized right away that he was following me. Because of the distance to my house, I was immediately scared because it's a big city. My exit was coming up and I decided not to take it. I kept driving. I circled the entire city on the freeway and he stayed right behind me. I was starting to panic a bit, so I decided to go to my friend's house instead of mine, and when I pulled out the exit, I noticed he didn't. So I had a little bit of a moment of breath and decided, okay, screw it, I'll just go home. I got home and showered and was getting ready for bed and started feeling dumb because I was like, was that really him? Am I overreacting? Do I ask him if he was following me? I decided I was going to message him and just say, I had a good time tonight. And when I started typing, all of a sudden a message came through to my phone of a picture of my car outside my house. I nearly died. My heart jumped out of my chest. I started shaking. I didn't know what to say, and he texts me and says, I didn't know you lived across the street from me. I've met my neighbors, and not once have I ever met him. There's a huge apartment complex catty corner to my townhouse, so maybe that's where he lived. I didn't know. I popped up and went to look outside, and there he was, just standing there outside like he was waiting for me. I opened the door and he asked if he could come in and if I wanted to still hang out. I told him I was exhausted and I'd rather just crash as it had been a long day. The next morning I woke up to go to work and my windshield had been smashed. My car was keyed. My back two tires were slashed. And as I was noticing the damage to my vehicle, the guy comes out of his car with 2 coffees and is like, oh, I thought I'd surprise you with the morning coffee. Again, I'm completely freaked out and frozen. I come to and called the cops and reported the damage to my vehicle. This guy offered to drive me and something in my gut was just like, do not get in that car. I called my boss, told him the situation and explained I wasn't going to be there until after the police came. This guy just hung out the whole time, by the way. When the police finally got there, this guy was acting really suspicious. He walked away and was like hiding on the other side of his car. I filed the report, and the police basically said, hope you have insurance, and were on their way to leave. They pulled around the corner and all I heard was the siren on the cops' lights turn on, and the cop screamed, freeze, put your hands in the air and get down on your knees. I look, and the cop has his freaking gun drawn at this guy, and this dude's on the ground actually getting arrested. I spoke with the cop after he got into the back, and he explained that someone recognized him and that he was wanted for stalking, breach of probation, assault with a deadly weapon, fraud, and aggravated assault. I was completely shook. It took me a couple of days to get over the hypothetical situation that could have happened. About a week later, I was on my way out the door to work, and guess who was sitting in my driveway? We live in Canada, so essentially you're released on conditions until you go to jail. I told him I was late for work and that I'd call him when I was done. I never went to work that day. I went and found a new apartment on another area of the city. I also changed my phone number and hired my friend's husband and his friends to go pack my apartment up and move it to their place for a month and then move it to my new place because I was so scared this dude would follow them while moving. And that's my horror story. So, I'm a Pokemon Go player. I was a mild fan of the franchise as a kid, and now in my mid-20s, I find that it allows me to get out of the house more often and do something that doesn't involve, well, my house. If you've played the game, you know that there are all these places called gymnasiums, where you can place one of your Pokemons to earn a max of 50 in-game coins per 24 hours. However, since I live in a huge European city, there are many, many players to compete with in order to secure a spot at these gyms. So tonight, the routine was the same. Got got dressed, got my coat, my scarf, and my black leather gloves. I went out and made my way to the first of 3 gyms in my area that I usually conquer in the game. It's actually quite fascinating to observe the people that wander the city at these hours. I arrive at my first gym, which is in a smallish street that curves to the right for quite a stretch. I empty it and place my own Pokemon inside. Some cars go by, and that's when I see him. This guy, clearly over 180 centimeters, making his way down the street. Now, these are just my country standards, but everything about him screamed, thug, ready to knife you. Sporting a black cap at night, concealing his face with a shadow. Padded black jacket with dirty blue jeans and ripped-off Timberland boots. My immediate reaction was to keep it cool and neutral and just calmly place my cell phone back in my pocket. As he went past me, he gave me this "what the F are you looking at" look, and I couldn't help but give back a small sideways glance as I put my glove back on my hand. I started walking towards the next gym, which happened to be in the same direction he was walking towards, and he, to my surprise, started speeding up. Then he pulled out his cell phone and tried to phone someone. This immediately reminded me of my girlfriend, as this is a common tactic she uses when she feels she's being followed by strangers. Whoever he tried to phone, however, did not pick up. He looks back at me, keeps walking, increasingly faster. He switches side and starts walking in the middle of the road, effectively distancing himself further and allowing the parked cars to get between me and him, and then, abruptly, he stops. He turns around and asks, "Hey friend, you know I can find transportation at this hour?" I'm kinda weirded out and freaking out at the same time, so without even looking at him, I just said, "This hour? Only Uber." He starts walking, only when I walk past him. Then it hit me. From my perspective, he was a thug-looking dude that could have very well tried to rob me and potentially harm me. But from his perspective, I'm a 171 centimeter dude in his mid-20s that for some reason decided to pocket his phone on the moment he went past me, then gave him a sideways "what the F are you looking at" glance as I put on a black leather glove and started following him, with not a single person awake around, looking like some sort of hitman or serial killer. As anxious as I was, he must have been terrified enough to try to phone someone, or pretend to, and then initiate dialogue with a total stranger at 3 a.m., just to be sure that I wasn't some psycho about to knife him. We walked together in the same direction for almost 10 minutes after that, without looking or talking to one another. Just 2 awkward guys who did not want to meet one another ever again.